What's up, guys, and welcome to the Mike Sports Podcast Show. I'm your host, Mike. Good to be back on the pod on today on this Good Friday. Weather is nice here in Memphis, Tennessee, and great day as always to recap, talk sports, and just talk about some things that are going on both locally in Memphis sports wise. NBA is back. Just got started last night. Had some really good games and some really great performances by our NBA All Stars. So, going to talk about that a little bit. Going to talk about uh, these coaches, man. These NCAA coaches that are out there making waves and headlines. And going to talk about the upcoming draft, some tanking discussions, or at least articles or stories that are and suggestions continuing that talk. I kind of touched on a little bit of it on my last podcast that I did earlier this week, and we're going to call it a show for the love of the game. Looking forward to some good games tonight. Minnesota is in action tonight. Anthony Edwards. We got the Lakers in action tonight. So looking forward to those games on tonight. I'm thinking about going live maybe during one of those games and just, you know, observing and talk about what I see as I watch the games. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it looks, how the rest of my evening shakes out. But for right now, going into this podcast, start off with our shout outs. Our shout outs today are going to go to the Macon Hall Elementary G League basketball team. The Macon Hall Elementary team basketball team, they got a win, and I want to give them a shout out. Also, want to give a shout out to WNBA player Dom Malinga. Dom Malunga. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, but in if you watch the 3-on-3 unrivaled tournament, uh, that WNBA playing the 3-on-3 games, she had two in-game dunks, and I mean, anytime a woman or is dunking in the game, it's definitely entertaining and fun. Definitely would like to see more of it. I'm surprised she didn't do it during the last season as a rookie, but it was great to see her showing all of her skills, and hopefully we see more in the future. So shout out to Malunga, a WNBA player, dunking. You can see the highlight. Just search her name. You can search it out on YouTube or be on ESPN as well. Going into our story of the day, um, this was a very hot topic of a NBA player that or a player that was drafted, went to the G League, NBA, and now is trying to get back into college and play college ball. And this is no joke. Former UCLA standout Amari Bailey is attempting to become the first player to return to college after appearing in an NBA game. Completely crazy. Um, we know that if you declare for the draft and you sign a pro contract, you are ineligible and should not be allowed to return. Of course, he is uh, trying to fight. Um, to go back to school and play, and is trying to go through the courts. So, as I pull this story up, see former UCLA star NBA player Amari Bailey planning college return. And this is written by Great Grubs, January the 30th. Former UCLA guard Amari Bailey is seeking a return to college basketball. Bailey said he is attempting to become the first basketball player to return to college after playing in NBA games, per ESPN's Dan Murphy. On threes, Joe Tipton confirmed Murphy's report. Bailey played the 2022-23 season at UCLA, where he averaged 11 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists per game, while shooting 49% from the field, 38% from beyond the arc. He led the Bruins to a Sweet 16 appearance before ultimately being eliminated. For his efforts, he was named to the All Pac 12 team. Bailey entered the 2023 NBA draft after the season. The Charlotte Hornets selected Bailey with the 41st overall pick. He made 10 career appearances for the Hornets. All 10 of his appearances occurred during his rookie season. He averaged 2 points in 6 minutes per game. Bailey is 21 years old and would currently be in his fourth collegiate season if he remained at UCLA. Right now, quote unquote, right now I'd be a senior in college, Bailey told ESPN. Quote, I'm not trying to be 27 years old playing college athletics. No shade to the guys that do. Wow. That's their journey. But when I go to play professionally, but when I'm sorry, can't read. But I went to go play professionally and learned a lot. Went through a lot. So like, why not me? End quote. On September 21st, 2024, Bailey signed with the Brooklyn Nets. However, the Nets waived Bailey on October the 19th. He's played for the Greensboro Swarm, the Long Island Nets, and the Iowa Wolves in the G Leagues. Bailey was a 5-star prospect and the number 12 overall player in the 2012 recruiting cycle, according to the Rivals industry rankings. He is only the latest professional American basketball player to see college eligibility. Earlier this month, Charles Bediako was granted a temporary restraining order, allowing him to play for Alabama again. Like Bailey, Bediako entered the 2023 NBA draft. Alas, Bediako went undrafted and never played in an NBA game. Amari Bailey told ESPN that his only professional contract was worth $565,000. Further, Bailey said he plans to begin reaching out to teams about playing for them next season. He wants to play for a team that can compete for a national championship. It's not a stunt, Bailey said. I'm really serious about going back. I just want to improve my game, change the perception of me, and just show that I can win. Bailey's attorney is Elliot Abrams, who helped former North Carolina football player Tez Walker restore his NCAA eligibility. Abrams reportedly said he doesn't believe the NCAA has any real justification for not granting Bailey eligibility. That right there is really wild. Uh, I don't believe at all that Amari Bailey is going to get his eligibility at all. I mean, it's just he's 21 years old. He's played in the NBA. He's been drafted. He signed a contract. There's no way a coach is going to or should allow him back into college. But he's seriously taking college visits to and he wants and as he said in the story he wants to um compete for a national title. I think it's absolutely crazy that NBA player or pro players are seriously trying to go back to college to play college ball after being previously drafted. And I'm pretty sure there are going to be many others that are going to try and follow suit. And even with the Alabama Bediako situation, the judge granted him eligibility, very similar to James Wiseman situation. He shouldn't have played, but he played anyway. Bediako played anyway when he should not have played. So Alabama, whatever games Bediako played, if they won or lost, that should be vacated. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some penalties, and maybe some recruiting restrictions related to that, because that's the exact same thing that Penny had to deal um, with the whole James Wiseman situation, that whole penalty, which was just really bogus. Um, but anyway, that is our story for today. To our hot topics, a couple of things, hot topic wise. I guess maybe we can call this segment the what moment of our show. Um, just crazy. It's just something about our college coaches. They've been going through a lot this year. They've been in the headlines a lot this year, along with the fact that there are a lot of great prospects this year for the draft, which we'll get into later. Our coaches have equally on the microphone in press conferences really shown themselves, really shown their character. It's in a good way, some in a good way, some in a bad way, and some in a very genuine way, I guess you can call it. But I'm gonna first start with I call this blues of a coach. So the first person, as I mentioned in the last podcast, was Coach Tang from Kansas State, who pretty much was embarrassed after a loss. He got embarrassed at home, and um, he got to the podium, frustrated, and pretty much said that they're going to do better in a nutshell. That the players, they don't deserve their name on the uniform. By the way that they played, he was embarrassed by their play, and the result of it was the AD fired him, which is absolutely crazy because all he's doing is coaching this team. At least from my point of view, he's holding them accountable. I mean, these guys are getting paid NIL money, getting paid thousands of dollars, some getting paid millions of dollars to play, and they're not playing hard. They're embarrassing themselves, embarrassing the school, embarrassing the coaching, the time that the coaches have put in for preparing these players, and they're just making the school look bad. So Tang gets up, says, "Hey, they don't deserve their names on the jerseys. We're gonna, have practice in the morning. We're gonna go back, fix this, and address this." And he gets fired, and they fire him for cause because the AD says that he's in a causing or creating or making the school look bad. Pay him. Pay him. He's gonna fight this and is likely gonna win his case. Pay him his money. This whole for cause embarrassing thing is even more embarrassing that you're firing him for cause. He just took Kansas State to the Sweet 16. They experienced NCAA March Madness success, and then all of a sudden you want to fire him because he's holding the team accountable. Absolutely crazy. Let's go down the line because if he's gonna get fired for that, let's look at Dan Hurley in the way that Tang has been treated compared to Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley of UConn consistently berates the officials. Consistently. Especially when they're losing or if they lose. He embarrasses himself and the university, but his embarrassing the school, embarrassing well, I don't even believe UConn feels embarrassed by him because they just accept it as school spirit. We look at it as, he's just passionate, which is cool. I mean, hey, if you want to yell, cuss, and scream at the referee, if you want to, yell at and scream at your players, embarrass your players, hey, if that's your prerogative, that's what you want to do as a coach, whatever. The kids, the young men, they signed up to play for you. But Hurley's not fired. He's not punished for that. Let's look at Mark Pope. Mark Pope at the beginning of this year, I believe he and a reporter got into it at one point, over reporter question. But look at Mark Pope. His first year at Kentucky was a bit rough. He was 12 and he was 24-12 first year. Kentucky made it to the Sweet 16. A really good story, good turnaround for Kentucky, right? Um, but Kentucky, they have high standards. Um, just they expect to win every game and blow out every opponent. So, needless to say, this year, which hasn't been great for Kentucky, he is the fans are pretty much down his throat. Um, and they most likely, I'm sure, want him fired. And I believe they lost their last game to Georgia, which is you're not supposed to lose to Georgia if you're Kentucky. Let's go to the women's basketball side. Coach Yo. And let's clap it up for Coach Yo. I'm a huge fan of Coach Yo at Ole Miss. They had a rough outing against LSU, but Coach Yo spoke earlier, spoke this year and last year, encouraging fans, the Ole Miss faithful, to be more involved and participate in the games, attend the games. I believe there was a story that came out where um, the average attendance for a women's basketball game is under 2,000 in attendance. And I mean, after Caitlin Clark left, pretty much all the fandom from college women's college basketball kind of left too. Sad to say, but Coach Yo um, has put herself out there and has encouraged the Ole Miss faithful, the Ole Miss students, fans to attend their games. I look at the Memphis Tigers and Coach Alex Simmons, who is a good coach and doesn't get a lot of fan support from here, from our fans in Memphis. And I mean, it's on campus. There's no reason for people not to be able to make it. There isn't any travel restrictions or anything. It's keeping fans from attending our women's Tiger basketball team. So our coaches, our student athletes, they need our support. You know, we make the difference in a lot of ways for our teams as it relates to winning. Two other coaches, Kim Caldwell and Vic Schaefer. This is reading a tweet from Sam Rodman. It says Kim Caldwell and Vic Schaefer were both heavily criticized for calling out their teams publicly after losses. Here's Coach Schaefer's response. Before you go criticizing coaches who sacrifice time with family and children, you you come walk in with come walk in their shoes. I will not give in to teaching these kids accountability and responsibility. That's my job. And I believe this came from criticism that he received by calling his team soft. So there's that. You got Andy Kennedy from UAB criticizing his team, holding them accountable. But this is the words that he used. Quote, these are college scholarship players that are making more money than most people in this room. Is it too much to ask for you to make a layup? I mean, we're in Bozo land, man. Andy Kennedy was going at it. This is in response to a UAB going 10 of 22 on layups in their loss to Tulane recently. Then there's UCLA's Coach Cronin, Mike Cronin from UCLA. This is the guy that deserves to be fired. No ifs, ands, or buts. Not Coach Tang, but Coach Cronin, who ejected his own player after just a regular hard common foul. I mean, Michigan State guy, was going up for a layup, a dunk, or whatever, and there were like two UCLA players in the same area. One player goes up, come from behind, hard foul. The Michigan State player kind of stumbled a little bit. It was a hard foul. It wasn't a malicious foul. He was going for the ball. Definitely not making it easy for the Michigan State player to score. It gets upgraded to a flagrant. He tosses him out of the game. embarrassing his player. And then in the press conference, he gets into it with the media, going back and forth with the media. I agree with Jalen Rose in his assessment, basically saying this is going to hurt his recruiting because who wants to play for a coach that where you're who wants to play for a coach like that? Let alone be around. And then Cronin has had several outbursts this season with the media, several outbursts regarding his team, and that's what we know him for. I don't even know what their record is, but I know he's called out his team. I know he's had several outbursts regard towards the media and how he's covered. But he's the one that should be fired, not Coach Tang. Then we have Memphis Tigers, our coach, our beloved coach, Penny Hardaway, who was emotional. And right now, I don't even like the narratives that are coming out. You have some narratives that saying he cried. You have some saying he's some emotional. And look, Coach, he can do no wrong. I'm behind Coach Penny 100%. This year's just a really bad year, a really bad constructed team with players that just aren't good enough. They just aren't. And it don't matter how many stars you had coming in out of high school, whether you came from a Power Five conference and you come into a mid-level conference where you just automatically think they're going to be better than the middle, the mid, the smaller conference schools. Coach Pastner said it. Coach Penny Hardaway has said it several times. The AAC is a tough conference, and it is. It's a tough conference. We keep looking at our NIL money, and we keep justifying saying that we should have the best players and we should win every game and win every championship, both football and basketball. But it's like we have zero respect for the process, zero respect for our opponents. When I say we, I'm talking about our fans, I'm talking about sports media. And when Coach Pastner would always say winning is hard, we trolled him. When Penny says he's thankful for every win, despite, you know, the media and even some fans or just people in general thinking that we're supposed to blow Charlotte, Tulane, and Tulsa, and UAB was just supposed to automatically blow these teams out of the water each and every time. Like we're going to get every 4 and 5 star um, recruit or any All American, you know, player from the Pac-12, from the Pac-10 to come to Memphis. Like they're supposed to make a big difference. I mean, we look at Bradshaw. I'll just use him as an example. A big 6'10", Ohio State, had Ohio State going with for him. Had Kentucky. Had some big school McDougas, um, point guard. You know, went to Michigan. Big Ten school. It don't always work that way. Some kids, some of these young men, they're just really just in for the money. They don't love the game that much. They don't put in the work. Penny is trying really hard to get this team to jail, come together. Everyone, as I said in the last podcast, is trying to do his job for him, telling him what he needs to do, what he needs, this, that, and the third. He can't coach, saying he can't do this, he can't do that, and what he needs to do, what lessons he needs to learn, and everything like that. And look, his players are just not. They just don't meet the standard. They're not. They're just not that good. Plain and simple. They're just not that good. Whether we win or whether we lose, there's always going to be somebody that's going to have a negative thing to say about Penny Hardaway. And I feel bad for him. We know how important retention is when it comes to players. I think a lot of players and even some coaches have leached on to Penny, and they've used him as a stepping stone for something bigger. Use his name, image, and likeness to promote themselves or say, "Hey, I was a part of Penny's staff," or da 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 da. And each and every year we have to hire new coaches. We have to hire new assistant, hire just a whole new team in this NIL era, this transfer portal era. And Penny is time and time again for the love of the city, for the love of the program, for the Memphis Tiger fans. He's trying uh, to do the best he can to put out a product on the floor and make it work. Um, and they still do have a shot. People can write Penny off all they want. They still do. They still do have a shot. They can turn this thing around. We have, um, I believe, 5 games left, and I believe some of them are at home. And I hope that we come out and support the Tigers during the last couple of home games that we have. And I hope the players you just put these losses, bad losses, behind them because I know that they're tired collectively of repeating themselves time and time again. But I support the Tigers. I support Penny Hardaway. Go Tigers. Um, but for the hot topic for this podcast, I just wanted to highlight some of the coaches that we've uh, for the last couple of weeks have been in the headlines. Um, once Coach Tang got fired, I thought and I thought of every coach that is pretty much had a disappointing year or just a disappointing moment. Um, and how sometimes we can just overreact instead of just saying, "Hey guys, we fail. Let's pick ourselves up. Let's get back at it, and let's just do better next time." So that's the one of the hot topic blues of a coach. The second topic I want to talk about is the eliminating of the draft. I'm not tanking and this idea of eliminating the NBA draft. Completely wild. And we all know are aware of Darren Peterson. Some project him as the number one pick, and the Kansas and Bill Self. And my thing is like, man, who is really in charge? It seemed like Peterson, and it definitely appears that Peterson is more in charge than Bill Self is. And I mean, if I'm Bill Self, I'm like, you know what? Just if you're gonna pull yourself out of games, if you're gonna miss games, just stay. Just stay on the bench. We're doing well without you. we're gonna play on without you. And for the most part, they have played well. Kansas has played really good basketball without Darren Peterson. Peterson's really, really good. He's a bucket getter, but and I think that makes makes the players as well as Bill Self, they should get a pat on the back for how they've been able to handle this season with all that distractions that come with with Peterson being the number one projected pick, but his availability is the biggest uh, topic going into each and every game. Is he going to play or not? Oh, we see him in warmups. Is he a go? Is what is he going to play the first half? Was he going to play the second half? Is he going to play under 20 minutes? Is he just going to play 10 minutes? But as it relates to eliminating the NBA draft to address the tanking situation, let's see. Stan Van Gundy advises NBA to eliminate the draft, remove any incentive on losing. Let's see here. This is on okay, pulling up the article here. This comes from Shams Sharania on the issue of tanking. And this is my thing with tanking. Like tanking is never I don't believe any player that goes out there is purposely trying to lose games. There's no player out there I don't believe that is purposely trying to lose. This is coming from the front office. It's coming from the owners. Now, tanking, if you are a player and you just quit, you're down 2 points, it's 10 seconds left, and you just decide to hold the ball until you don't even try to score or it's kind of situational, I guess you could say. Then that will be considered taking considered, clearly obvious. What Utah did was obvious. They set out Triple J, Jaron, Luke. They set out their best players, their starters, the entire fourth quarter, and they were winning. Uh, they were on pace to win that game, and they set out. But anyway, here's the story. I guess you could call it the second story of the day by Sham Sharania, dated just recently, just yesterday. Commissioner Adam Silver informed the league's 30 general managers Thursday that the NBA plans to make an anti-taking changes for the next season. Rule changes for next season. The league office's conversations with stakeholders from the board of governors, competition committee, and general managers have been intensifying dialogue about combating tanking, including starting to propose potential concepts for changes during its December meeting with owners. Sources with knowledge of Thursday's meeting, as well as late January competition committee meeting, told ESPN that these concepts have been discussed to curb tanking. And so there are a couple of concepts. It looks like they have one, two, three, four, seven concepts. Here's the first one. First round draft picks can be protected only for top four or top 14 plus selections. Again, first round draft picks can be protected only for top 4 or top 14 plus selections. Second concept, lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. The third concept or idea, no longer allowing a team to pick in the top 4 in consecutive years and or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. Hmm. Teams can't pick in the top 4 the year after making the conference finals. Hmm. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. Sixth concept, lottery extended to include all playing teams. And the last concept, flatten odds for all lottery teams. I think if you to add another concept, I would say whoever wins the NBA Cup should have the greatest odds to um, should have the greatest odds in the lottery. I do like the idea of having the lottery before the trade deadline or lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. I do like that one. I think that's the only one that I will be a huge fan of. But I really think if you want to make it interesting, just whoever wins the cup has the greatest odds of winning the lottery. All right, so reading the rest of it, it says during Thursday's GM meeting, Silver, the NBA office, and the league's top 30 team executives share a desire to have ongoing discussion to safeguard the integrity of the sport. Silver was described as forceful with his message about wanting to solve the problem that has gained steam across the NBA or across the league in recent weeks. Sources told Mike Krzyzewski, the senior advisor to basketball operations for the league office, deliver, delivered a message at Thursday's meeting that there should be a prompt, tasteful attack on the problem and that all involved should be prepared to respond to what the league enacts in the coming months and year. During his All Star Weekend news conference, Silver said tanking has been worse this year than we've seen in recent memory, and that he was considering every possible remedy to combat the problem. And again, I don't believe the one thing that I've noticed, and there's more to the story, but I'll stop it right there. I believe I don't believe that teams are purposely tanking. But one thing I have noticed is that the star players, Zach Levine, Sabonis of the Kings, it just came out that they are now having season-ending surgery. Jaren Jackson Jr. He's having a season-ending surgery, and these injuries and these surgeries, they can wait to the end of the year and still be ready for next season. But instead, they're opting to have it right now. And I understand it. You're not playing for anything. Most likely not going to make the playoffs. But it's about the fans, right? Shouldn't it be? I mean, if you're the owner and you're sitting out your best player or players, I mean, are you going to reimburse the fans? the season ticket holders, are you going to improve their fan experience when they come to these games, knowing that their best player or their favorite player is, I mean, 82 games. We're talking about half the season. I mean, how many games are these stars missing? The fans, there's no incentive to be a season ticket holder whatsoever. So it's just wild, and with Adam Silver said that this year more than any other year he's seen more tanking. And we debate and we talk about, well, why why is that the case? And if we look at um the NBA draft, so if we're looking at just rejection, these aren't final numbers, but the Kings select Darren Peterson. The Wizards select AJ DePotzna. The Hawks, Cameron Boozer. Caleb Wilson goes to the Pacers. Kingston Flemings, he goes to Brooklyn. Michael Brown goes to the Jazz. Keaton Wagler goes to Dallas. Nate Ament goes to the Memphis Grizzlies at 8. Darius Acuff, point guard, goes to Milwaukee. LeBaron Phelan goes to the Chicago Bulls, point guard. A lot of these are guards, a couple of wing and guards and wings, pretty much. There's only one big that I see, and that's Cam Boozer. And I like Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson probably at that fourth spot, but he's kind of like a wing too. Yaxo Lindenborg, as a power forward, goes 13th to OKC. So we're tanking for these players. These are the players: Peterson, DeBossina, Boozer, Caleb Wilson, Kingston Fleming, Michael Brown, Wagler, Nate Ament, Darius Acuff. And I mean, if you're inside the top 8, top 9, you're going to get a really good player. But as I'm looking at the teams that are selected within this group, most of them are wing and guard loaded already, and they're already talented in those positions. So there's you're just drafting a really good player, not a Wimby. You're not getting the next LeBron. You're not getting that type of caliber player in this year draft. You're just really getting a collection of some really good players. I mean, down at Darius Acuff, I think is the best point guard out of this group. Darren Peterson, we don't know if he can play, if he's not gonna play, his injury. And I really wish Darren Peterson would just come out and speak for himself. He or his representation would just come out and explain why he's missing so many games. Why is he pulling himself out of games? You got AJ Davotsina, um, who's man, it looks like the second coming of Tracy McGrady. Cameron Boozer, he looks like Pablo. Looks like his dad almost. Really good player. My favorite player, as far as the wing goes, is Caleb Wilson. He has a hand injury. He's out for the year. Kingston Flemings, he's a really good point guard, quick, flashy guard. Michael Brown is having a really good year. We had an up close look at him when they played Memphis. Um, Nate Ament, he's having a really good year. Um, one player that I don't see on here that uh should be on here, at least to me, in my opinion, is I believe Elijah Arenas, Gilbert Arenas' son from USC. That kid can ball too. And I'm pretty sure he'll be up there. Um, I don't know why he's not on this list that I'm looking at, but uh, I think he can make some noise. But the hot topic of eliminating the NBA draft to address tanking, I really don't know. I don't know if that's the way to go. I think the NBA draft is like, just a part of your story. I don't think you just eliminate that. But the ideas that have been put in place or that they're considering aren't bad ideas either. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes itself out. But that's topic number two. Um, hot topic number three, last topic, is the NBA is back. The NBA is back. And some really good games on yesterday, on last night. Looking forward to some games tonight. Um, I want to talk specifically about the Grizzlies because the front office has, pushed out this youth movement, and we keep using this doubling down on youth in this retool and not rebuild. And quite frankly, this is just my point of view of it is the front office has basically quit on Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant and Desmond Bain and Dylan Brooks. They quit on those guys. They quit. They quit on developing. They quit on the team building around those guys. I mean, John Morant's 26. Jaren Jackson Jr. is 26. I believe 26 years old is young. I mean, am I wrong? Is something wrong with me? The 26-year-olds is now considered old in the NBA. I mean, Gigi Jackson is just what, 21? Cedric Howard is like what, 22, 23? Jalen Wells, 23? And look, I mean, going forward, I think if you really want to evaluate the Grizzlies, they need to play these guys. I think it's absolutely crazy that, basically the Grizzly front office pretty much quit on this team. I hope that we see Zach Edey back on the court. I hope we see John Morant. I hope we don't trade him and just let him play, man. I know he hasn't played well. They put his name out in the trade block. Nobody, you know, quote unquote, wanted him. Whatever. Well, we know what John's capable of. I mean, how many game winners do we need to see to be convinced that not he's a good player? I mean, he could put up as many points as he wants to when given the opportunity. Hey, if we think about tanking, you know, uh, you could you could even suggest or even say We started tanking at the very beginning of the year with the way his rotations, Ti's rotations, and minute distribution went. We've blown so many leads. I mean, you kind of start putting the pieces together. But I mean, look, we gotta go. We need to go all in. I mean, these players, the rookies, the freshman class that I just mentioned, and then considering we just drafted Cedric Coward, who is playing really well, Jalen Wells playing really well. Are we really gonna guard pick up another guard wing? Are we really gonna go with another point guard when we already have Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr., who's not a scrub? Are we really gonna just over step over them and go with a fresh another whole another freshman? So I hope we go all in as far as the Grizzlies go. But the NBA is back. We play the Utah Jazz. We have a load of players, a lot of players that are out. We got our skeleton crew playing tonight. Couple of points, highlights from the NBA. Orlando, they've been a disappointment this year, in my opinion. First half of the season, you know, you thought they were ready to take their next step, and Pablo has been a big disappointment this year. And the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's obviously some disconnect between the player and the coach. He had 30 points against the Kings, the tanking Kings. Uh, but hopefully Orlando could be one of those dark horses, turn things around. It was good to see Boston with a nice win at Golden State. Porzingis was out there playing, finally healthy enough to play. Detroit, they walk into the Garden and trolls out, strolls out victorious against the New York Knicks on the road game without um, without Stewart and without Jalen Duren. So Detroit, something serious. They're not a team to sleepwalk over. Cleveland's playing really really well. So the NBA is back. Um, it's getting exciting and more fun by the night, by the day, as these games approach. Both college and um, NBA. Some really good games uh, on Saturday. Some really good college games on Saturday. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch um, as the season progresses. Gonna go ahead and close out because I've talked long enough. But give a funny quote as we in the show on the quote of the day, the final segment quotes of the day. Uh, Kendrick Perkins said that the Lakers can card senior citizens during recess. He said that on First Take. I thought that was hilarious. Um, we're going to see the Lakers tonight. So we're going to see, uh, first of all, if Luca is available and if LeBron plays tonight, we'll see how that goes. But the funny quote of the day: Lakers can guard senior citizens during recess. Want to give kudos to Kendrick Persons for that one because that's hilariously funny. And then our inspirational quote to end the podcast comes from Carol Lawson, Duke women's basketball coach. She talks about playing hard and competing. Playing hard, competing. I can get you to work hard. This is the quote. I can get you to work hard, but I cannot give you the will to want to come in first. That's competing. Competing is doing the very best with what you have, especially when circumstances, opposition, and adversity are stacked against you and still pushing through anyway. That is competing. Cannot agree more with that statement and with that quote. And so I leave you with that. Enjoy the games tonight. Uh, Peace and blessings. We'll see you next time. Again, like, subscribe, comment to the podcast, Mike dash 901. Please subscribe. Appreciate the views. Also, check out some of the videos and the shorts that I have posted. View those as well. Really excited about just the speculation or speculative things that may potentially or could potentially happen. Um, so that's what the intent of those shorts are. We're going to start getting into football, NFL offseason talk pretty soon. So be looking for that. But uh, for right now, at least, focus is on basketball. So let's enjoy the games tonight and look forward to seeing you next time. Peace and blessings. Peace out. Thanks for listening.